Welcome. I'm Richard Hasnot, and I'm your host for the Wisdom Inspired Life podcast and this Wisdom Inspired Life YouTube channel. Great to have you here. Well, this is another one in what I call my Advanced Wisdom series. This is where I share fundamental and deep wisdom insights from the most spiritually advanced wisdom teachers and leaders from current day, but most often going back in time. And all of these teachers are God-realized, enlightened teachers. Okay? The teacher for this particular episode, source, is Paramahansa Yogananda, who's broadly acknowledged to have been an avatar, enlightened, God-realized person, whatever word you want to describe, founder of the Self-Realization Fellowship, and passed in 1952. And before he passed, he wrote Autobiography of a Yogi about his life. And that particular book has been one of the best-selling spiritual books on Amazon for decades. In fact, there have been many decades where it's been the bestseller. Now, Yogananda left us with an extraordinary library of wisdom teachings. And I've been quoting from two of the major sources in the episodes, this Advanced Wisdom series so far. One is his illumination and insights on the Christian Bible, and the source for today is the Bhagavad Gita, the Royal Science of God Realization. And both of these books have played an extraordinary role in my life. In this particular book, I read it very carefully, 1 or 2 pages a day. When I get to the end, I go back and start reading it again, and I've been doing that for decades now. And it's kind of strange. Each time I start reading it again, there are elements in it that I go, wow, it's like I'm reading it for the first time, and that's because I am making some spiritual progress, albeit slowly, I'm sure, that help illuminate me and inspire me. So that's the background on that. So let's get into today's subject, which is sex and love. It's going to be interesting to see, with that in the title, what happens to listenership on this particular episode. Will it be one of the best, most viewed, or not? We'll see. Okay, quoting from Yogananda in his illumination in the Bhagavad Gita. The sex impulse is the single most physically magnetic power that pulls the life and consciousness down from spirit in the higher centers of the brain, out through the center at the base of the spine, into matter and body consciousness, down from spirit. The beginner in yoga meditation experiences all too definitely how grounded he is by the stubborn attachment of his life and energy to the body. Sometimes without realizing that it is his uncontrolled thoughts and acts of sex that are primarily responsible for his earthbound condition. A lot in this quote, okay? Pulling you down, the sex impulse pulls you down from spirit in the higher sphere and goes down the cerebral spinal to the base of that, which is the kind of like the beginning point of the evolutionary process. And from there, we need to achieve higher levels of consciousness, we need to ascend through those higher levels of points of consciousness, often called chakras, in the cerebral spinal area. And the bottom three of those are often associated with the sexual impulse and things of that nature. And moving your center point up through meditation and through Kriya Yoga are the best ways to achieve those higher levels of consciousness that I've talked about in other episodes, going from this waking consciousness to superconsciousness to Christ consciousness to cosmic consciousness, where we become that avatar, that God-realized being. Okay, so that's part of it. But the challenge here is when the focus is on sex, it's not on God. you may think it is, but as long as it is focused on the senses, the sensual experience of it, you are centered at those lower points in the evolutionary experience. And that it can be a very heavy anchor, a very heavy challenge for many people to lessen that hold that it has on us. And as it says here, sometimes without realizing that it is his uncontrolled thoughts and acts of sex that are primarily responsible for his earth-bound condition, okay? Those lower levels of evolutionary position, if you will. Those lower chakras is where you're focused, okay? So it is very powerful. It's strongly acknowledged here, and it's something that we need to be aware of, okay? So let's move on from that to the next thought here. The attraction between man and woman, based on true love and not sensual obsession, is the effort of the soul to regain its normal harmony. Love, okay? This gives birth to the oft-abused argument proclaiming the necessity to seek and find one's soulmate. But all too frequently, attraction for the wrong reasons results instead in cellmates. And who said an avatar doesn't have a sense of humor, okay? When I first read this, I just got a big smile on my face. Instead of finding our soulmate, we end up finding our cellmate, okay? But the attraction between man and woman, when based on true love and not sensual obsession, is the effort of the soul to regain its normal harmony, living a wisdom-inspired life anchored in love and compassion. Okay? So that's where that comes from. Final quote here, or almost. Considering as a start that everything is in essence a soul made in the image of God, neither man nor woman, but in an embodied state possessing both a masculine and feminine nature. Now, we're born as a male or as a female, and there are traits that are often primarily associated with a male and primarily associated with a female. But all of us, to some degree, have a mixture of, if we're a male, some of the feminine aspects of love and caring, for example, and then women, some of the male characteristics that are typically associated with them. In essence, we are a whole person, even though when we're born as a male or female, we tend to be anchored in one of the other to a greater extent than that. Okay? So there's a lot. Just understand that we are whole beings with the characteristics of both male and female. We manifest them in different ways depending upon the sexual orientation with which we are born. Okay? Marriage between man and woman is for the purpose of each partner helping to uplift the other. Okay? Uplift the other in a commitment of divine friendship, love, and loyalty that will move both souls closer to their true nature in the incarnation that they share together. Okay, again, a lot here. Marriage, when between man and a woman, is for the purpose of each partner helping to uplift the other. Okay? Uplift your partner. Positive, supportive, compassionate, empathetic, loving. Okay? In a commitment of divine friendship, love, and loyalty that helps move both forward along the evolutionary path, getting closer to their true nature, which is as souls and not as egos. Okay? Good sentence here for you to consider what marriage can be and should be, maybe. Okay? This is a statement of purpose, if you will, that could serve a lot of people very well. Okay. Shared some thoughts here. There's a lot more on this, as I try to say to one degree or another in all of these episodes. These two books, the Yogananda's one on the Bible and this one on the Bhagavad Gita, are both available at the Self-Realization Fellowship website and on Amazon in hardback, paperback, and Kindle versions. And I strongly urge you that if any of this is, sparks an interest in you, an attraction, a connection with you, that you consider getting these books. They are robust, I will say that, in a lot of pages. But Yogananda is a great writer. Okay? So if you want to know more, I've just given you little snippets here. I urge you to do that. And as always, if you would like to learn more about Wisdom Inspired Life, you can go to the website, mywisdominspiredlife.com. You can also listen to the podcast there. Got a very good player to listen to it, but you can also listen to it Apple, Google Play, Spotify, all the places that you listen to the podcast. Well, if you've been listening to these episodes, you know I'm on a journey. The mission that I articulated in the early episodes is the mission I am on. It's the journey for that mission. And I really appreciate you being part of this journey today. Thank you. And I look forward to continuing this journey with you.